What up brothers, it's Clip King returning. Welcome back to my channel for another new review. The figure I'll be reviewing tonight is the T-800 Guardian from the Terminator Genisys movie. Got to say a massive thank you to Lee Ward from the online store The Good, The Bad and The Robots for kindly sponsoring this review. Not only is he selling this figure on his site, but this actual figure is for sale. So if you'd like to contact Lee directly in the link below, or you can talk to me and I'll put you in touch with Lee. I will start off by saying it is a nice figure, but I haven't actually seen the film, so there'll be no references to the movie. I started watching it a couple of times and I just couldn't get past about 45 minutes. Not only were it not a great film, but it were also pissing on the films that I really enjoy, namely Terminator 1 and 2. But saying that, I have noticed before that not great films do sometimes bring great figures. Is that the case with this one? I'm going to move in, I'm going to score it up, try and get you some nice poses if I can, and you'll know my total thoughts on the figure. If you do enjoy the video, please like, comment and subscribe. It'd be much appreciated as well if you shared the video around. I'm on the verge of passing 10,000 subs and it'd be a massive landmark to me to actually do it. Right, so let's make a start and we'll talk about the packaging. As I move away, you see the really good looking artwork on a good quality card. As I move up, you see the shot of the elder version, or aged version should I say, of the T-800. Obviously the theme of the film is that the Guardian has been here quite a long time and has aged because he is wearing real skin on top of the endoskeleton. As you hear, as I move across the card, he goes from the really smooth to the sort of grained cardboard, which feels really nice. Moving down, the lettering is also sort of indented, which again feels really nice. Then you see it's the T-800 Guardian 1/6 scale collectible figure, and it's the MMS 307. We're flying through them now, boys. The Movie Masterpiece series from Hot Toys. I'm not even going to turn the box round because there's nothing really to see. I do like the artwork, although there's 3 points I want to make because I will be referring to them later in the review. Firstly, you notice the cover shot, he does have the grey hair. Secondly, the eye is lit up. And then thirdly, I want you to notice the hand that's holding the gun, because I will be referring to them when I get onto the categories where they would make sense for me to mention. It is basically just a shoebox design though, so the lower section will just drop out and then it has the clam trays inside. Very standard, very straight down the middle, nothing stunning, but I do like the artwork on it, so I am going to give it a 3 out of 5. Moving on to the likeness, and as you see, you knew I was going to set up the other Terminators. I've done it on this category because I think it's the one that emphasises most the change in the appearance, or not so much the change but the aging of Arnie in the role of the T-800. So just to rattle through, from the original Terminator movie, you see this one is the battle damaged head, so you see he gets the younger look, really fresh faced. I think Hot Toys in general have pretty much perfected the look of Arnold now. I think there's been a couple of soft ones, and I'm thinking about the Commander figure a little bit soft. This one's a little bit soft when you compare it to the others, but it is still instantly recognisable. As we move across, that is actually the cleaner sculpt from the DX13 figure. That's actually on a DX10 body, but I like to use that one. As you see, I've got the eyes pulsed, so kind of looking at it from there. Again, I think a really good representation from the year that this film was made. And then moving across to my favourite one is the really battle damaged head from the DX13. Then as we move forward, we see the Guardian sculpt from the newest release. Now, not only do I think it's a really good sculpt and paint job, I think it's a little bit complimentary to Arnold now, because I don't think they've gone as severely old as he's looking in some of these films. And I'm thinking about films like this, also the Expendables films. He's showing his age a lot more than this figure will have you think. Again, I mentioned it on the box. I don't understand why the hair's as brown as it is. I think it's because they've gone for the I've been expecting you scene and not so much when he's aged a little bit towards the end of the film. So that's probably explains the grey hair. But I don't know, when it gives you two sculpts, I suppose they could have gone either way, so to speak. I will say it's definitely not worse than any of the sculpts, and I would say it's actually maybe a touch better than that one. I think this one is more accurate, but again, because of the iconic look and the sort of the frills you get with the DX13, I would still go for that likeness. And by frills, I mean you do get two good head sculpts. I'll show you the other one. It will be on the figure at some point. This one's eyes are slightly off. Stunning likenesses, no doubt about it. But when I said there's no frills, what I mean by that is, and again referring back to the box, why couldn't they have put a red light behind the eyes on this one, and then sort of a really finely drilled out pupil, just so the red would have come through it? I don't know, it would have took it from a really good head sculpt to an awesome head sculpt, I think. This one, the eyes seem to be a little bit more tighter, and this one's looking straight forward. This one, like I say, you'd want him sort of posed somewhere looking at that angle. Again, the battle damage work is awesome, but as you can see, they have been doing that for a while now with these Terminator figures. Like I say, on that one the eye lights up as well. This one has posable eyes, this one has a light up eye and a posable eye. This one is just a flat sculpt, same with this, but they are stunning. There's no way I could knock it down, but I'm just saying, I'm showing you the options that are out there. But yeah, awesome likeness to Arnie. Not as old as he really is, I don't think, but like I say, definitely a perfect 5 out of 5. And as I move back, I'll just show that's kind of how it would display with the other Terminator figures. And again, it is nice. They've got the similar style base that they're giving you with these certain figures now. So yeah, like I said, the likeness on this one are very, very easy. 5 out of 5. Right, so now we'll roll on to the clothing. As you can see, I've got him rotating on the base. Watch him come round, get a full look of him. I've got him posed in the initial pose, back to the initial pose, where he's sort of not just firing the gun off to the side, he's actually rotated through his waist, as you can see. He's actually firing at something behind him. So I did want to show that. But let's start at the bottom and work his way up. He basically comes wearing the military style boot. You see the weathering on the toe there. And then on this one, as it comes round, you get probably a 6-inch boot, so it goes up and over the ankle. And then as we move up, he has the cargo style trouser. Again, lovely cut and stitch, like we expect from Hot Toys. The sort of pleat across the upper leg section. Pockets, so on the lower leg and upper leg. And as you see, as it comes round, it's a Velcro fastening on the fly. So nice use of materials, nice trouser altogether, quite movie accurate to what I can remember. But again, nothing too detailed or nothing too difficult to do, you wouldn't think. I will say one of the strong points with the outfit is the hooded section. It has kind of an hood that's actually attached to the inside of the jacket collar. And on this one, it is a really good scale and lays down really nicely. Although the embroidery there is a little bit messy, which I don't understand. I don't know if that is from the film or if it's a defective stitch in the hood. I don't know. Under that, you get the grey t-shirt, which is again very simple. The embroidery and the fit of the leather jacket is stunning. It is a pleather or a faux leather, whatever you want to call it, but it is really fine. And it does look very accurate and very to scale. It's quite impressive. The figure as a whole sort of tips its cap to the original Terminator outfits, but it's not identical. So I do like that about it. Show you the patch on the sleeve, as you see there. And then up top, obviously comes wearing the signature shades. The shades, I will say, don't actually go behind the ear, they actually go into the hairline. So if you get these shades and they are only so long, don't think they're broke. That's how they're supposed to be. So again, what's a Terminator without his shades? Nothing, correct? So the outfit, like I say, I quite like it. It's pretty simple, so I can't go mental and get a top score, but everything they've done is really good work. I will also point out, it is the stick-on buttons, as you see. So they do give you some spare buttons. At some point they might be expecting them to fall off, and I would also be expecting them to fall off because they normally do, but like I said, they have thought of it and give you the extra buttons, so look after those. To give the outfit a score, I've seen more complicated outfits than it, so I'm not going to give it a 5, but the work they've done is good, so I am going to give it a 4 out of 5. Let's watch him rotate, watch him come round, eh? Just look at natural lines Uncle Rickster's got for you there. Beautiful. Let's get his gun in shot. Beautiful. Rolling on to his articulation. Show you first. You know I normally go for a pose that will demonstrate his articulation. That is what I've done here. You see I've got his weight on his right knee, balance with his left leg, the foot turned in, just to get the extreme bends through his body parts. I will start off by telling you it is very similar feeling Terminator body that we always get. The bulky feeling one with the big pec section. I think it's the, is it the True Type 21, something like that? I can't remember. It feels like that. It does have a double bend elbow, so you see it will go nice and tight like that, although the bicep area is really bulky. Good motion through the shoulder. The neck only moves on an upper ball joint, so there's no lower neck, which I like because obviously the sculpt is a nice muscular sculpt that runs straight down into the bulky chest. It does have a ab crunch just underneath the chest, as you can see, sort of into there, and I will say his t-shirt sits really nicely across his pecs. Nice rotation through the waist, and then the pelvis area is standard True Type, so it will move, do nice splits, good forward kick, and as you see the trouser don't hinder it at all. It does have a double bend knee, and the ankles, the boots sit on a ball joint, so there is good motion through that as well. I will say the sculpt is not rock hard, although it is, I don't know, kind of stiff, so you're not going to get a great deal of pivot, but there is movement simply because it's on a ball joint. So I've got to say that is nice looking articulation. I would say the most limited place on the articulation is possibly in the wrists, simply because the wrist peg sits pretty deep into the arm, so there's no, with some where you get like the you get a good motion like that and that. This one you don't seem to, it sort of goes only like that. I hope I've displayed that pretty well for you. That's amateurish as fuck, but I don't give a shite. So yeah, that would be the limitation, and obviously the no lower neck. But again, I've said I do take into account that films like this, or characters like this, are not going to be the most articulated characters in the world anyway, but I think it's certainly good enough. I can't tell you it's perfect, because that would mean it's up there with a Damn Toys body, or it's up there with the Slim True Type, and that would be a 5. This isn't, but it's not too hindered, so I'm going to give the articulation a pretty strong 4 out of 5. Moving on to extras and accessories. As we move down, just give you an idea of the pose. Pretty much gone into a running position with a rifle or shotgun held two-handed, and I've got all these accessories laid out along the front. So let's talk about what he brings. As I've shown in the likeness section, it does come with 2 head sculpts or portraits, whatever you want to call them. Both are fantastic. Paintwork and sculpt really good. Like I said, I questioned the accuracy of the hair, but other than that, there's nothing really you can take away from them. So any figure that brings another portrait is a really good extra in its own, and does bump the score up normally. The kind of pump action shotgun, although there's no moving parts on it, show it from both sides, is a nice piece, but again it's very simple, no frills kind of weaponry. As we move down, see the shades that will fit on both sculpts and are a nice addition, total must for a Terminator figure. the clean head sculpt, which again, like I said, is pretty perfect. Let's show it. The instruction manual, which I've got to be honest on this one, I haven't even read. So there could be something in there that I've missed altogether. I'm guessing it tells you about how to move the head on the neck and also how to put the glasses on or something like that. So I'm assuming there's not a great deal in there. Set of wrist pegs, set of replacement buttons. Keep hold of those because they might come in handy. And then as we move across, the other big accessory it brings is the old DX style squared base with the two lights at the front and then the chromed name plaque. See, it is the grated section, so pretty similar to the DX13, nicely painted. It is a crutch grab stand, and then you see here he has a set of fists and a set of relaxed hands. Now, show you the other hands, one for cradling the pump section of the gun and then a trigger hand. Right, nitpicks. It covers a couple of key bases, and I'm talking about the head sculpt and the stand. So what I would normally do, I normally work it like this. A diorama style stand would get a point. A normal Hot Toys stand doesn't normally. An head sculpt would get a point. An array of hands would get a point. Weaponry would get a point. And then anything above and beyond that would get another point collectively. So that is how the figures would normally get a 5 out of 5. Now this one, you're looking, it's got a weapon, check. It's got a set of hands, check. It's got the base, it's got the second head sculpt. So you'd be talking about a 4-pointer. This one, I find it hard to give it 4 points, and I'll tell you why. Everything it brings, your pose options, or your options in general to display this figure are very, very limited. More so than most figures I've ever seen before. Because you can pretty much choose whether you hold his gun one-handed or two. If you have his gun in a shot position or a relaxed position, and that is about it. Now I mentioned on the box about the hand as well that he comes wearing. That hand would be like a one-off hand sculpt that will hold his hand in a position where he could actually put his shotgun over his shoulder or rest it against his shoulder. That hand doesn't come, so you can't do it because there's not enough motion in the wrist to turn it enough for the sort of the top section of the gun to rest on his shoulder. So that's a pose you can't do, and it's actually shown on the box, which pisses me right off. I can remember giving the Robocop or the Murphy figure a really good review on the strength of the one hand that spins the pistol. So they have got the capabilities to make these one-off hands, so why not include them? Because I've said before, they should be standard. They shouldn't even count. A fist and a relaxed hand, they should be must. Your relaxed hands are neither fucking here nor there, because you can't do no with them. You can't do no dynamic, or they're not even that realistic, relaxed looking, because most people, when their hands are relaxed, their hands are actually curled up more than that. So just mention that. And like I say, even the trigger hand is pretty much a run-of-the-mill trigger hand. It's not even the high-tension trigger hand like the Commando figure brings and the Damn Toys figures bring. So it's kind of like the hands the trigger's resting in his hand, or the handle's resting in his hand. He's not like gripping it, and it just pisses me off. That, on the other hand, is a nice hand, and it does cradle the barrel nicely. So again, I'm not even giving it a point for the hands, because not only have they given the wrong hands, I don't think they've given enough. The portraits, obviously, they're undeniable. The stand, pretty generic, but it is at least a diorama-style stand with the lights. Other than that, he don't bring another weapon, so I can't give it a massive score on the extras. I'm only going to give it a 3 out of 5, and I think I've been really fair explaining why. Rolling on to the value, then I'll go straight into the sum up. Let's move up. See, I've just got the figure walking with the hood up. Quite a somber pose. I think it's quite a nice one. So, the value. I think this figure retails for around about the £200 mark shipped, which is pretty much standard for these figures now. Do I like it? Do I fucking hate it. I want the days back where figures were £130 a piece shipped. Now people will tell you Hot Toys are still releasing the figures at around about the same price. That's all well and good if they can get them to your door for that price. When they can't, or people are putting percentages on and then shipping money, it's an heartbreaker, to be honest. Again, The UK sellers, although there is still that delay, I think that delay is coming in a little bit. So if you can wait a month, maybe 2 months, because I don't think this figure's been out more than 2 months. I could be wrong, but I'm sure it hasn't. So if you can wait, you can normally pick it up from the UK seller. In this case, it's Lee Ward, like I said, at The Good, the Bad and the Robots. Really great guy. I've known him for quite a long time now, and he's always happy to help me. So I will say massive respect to him for that. Like I said at the beginning of the review, this figure was always a review sample, so if you want to buy it direct from here, you can do, or if you want to get one, a brand new version if you like, straight from Lee, I think the price is going to be the same whichever, so it's just a case if you want to buy the one that Uncle Clipper's reviewed and makes them famous, or do you want to go and buy one from the store? That's just a question. But like I say, I'm sure it's somewhere around the £200 mark shipped, so at that, is it great value? Well, I don't rank any Hot Toys figure around the £200 mark, if I'm honest, so it's never going to get a 5 out of 5 for value. And then the fact that it's just lacking a little bit in bang for the buck type, you know what I mean? I can't see people rushing out to get it. Another killer to the figure is the strength of the film, because I don't see nobody raving about this film. When it's come from one of the best movie franchises of all time, the Terminator line, they've done so much to kill it with Part 3, Salvation and this. Although I like Salvation, I will be honest, I don't know. I don't think this license can take too many more hits. But what I will say, I asked at the beginning, is it a good figure from a bad film? I definitely think it is, especially carried by the fact it is on a really good body, the 2 awesome head sculpts, and the outfit is better than average. A few more extras would have helped, but they didn't. But it is what it is. So on the value, I'm going to score it a 3 out of 5. I don't think it's massively overpriced, but it doesn't bring a lot for your money. So, like I said, in my eyes, that's a fair 3 out of 5. That gives a figure a total of 22 out of a possible 30, which is a respectable score. It's never going to break no records, but I think I have reviewed it fairly. Please leave a comment if you disagree with anything I say, or you think I've reviewed it unfairly, or whatever. Also, if you'd leave a comment just to say if you've ever bought from Lee Ward before, and if you would recommend him as a seller, because I think he gets really good comments in the Facebook groups, and I'd just be interested to know if many of the YouTube type people know about Lee Ward at The Good, the Bad and the Robots as well. Massive thank you to him. Again, he's helped my channel by sending me this figure. It's been a free review for me. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you do, check out my other videos. But for now, this is a Clipper King, and I am out of here.